Okay, after the huge tragedy in Parkland, Florida, this is a headline on the Huffington Post, several others similar out there all over the internet. Florida high school students stage walkout to protest gun violence. These kids are really upset. Obviously, they are probably experiencing PTSD. They watched 17 of their classmates and teachers gunned down, and it's not acceptable. We need to keep our kids safer. But these kids are coming for your guns. This sign, uh, they're coming for the NRA. They are. This one says "Money killed my friends." That's an interesting take on it. These kids are furious, and they are coming for your AR-15. They are blaming the gun for uh, every death that they experienced and witnessed, and they are lacking severely a education in history. Their school, I would say, has failed them because over 56 million people have been exterminated following gun control and gun confiscation in the 20th century, starting with Stalin. This is in no particular order, but over 20 million dissidents rounded up and killed by Joseph Stalin. Some estimates put the number as high as 50 million. In Turkey, they confiscated guns. The Ottoman Empire then killed over 1.5 million Christians. In Germany, as you know, Jews, Poles, Soviets, Serbs, over 13 million people were rounded up and exterminated in Germany under Hitler after he confiscated guns. Then, of course, Mao in China, this guy right here with a nice mole on his chin, killed upwards of 70 million people. Nice, right? Guatemala, these folks were backed by the U.S. Army, as a matter of fact, or the U.S. backed Guatemalan Army, I should say. But in Guatemala, after gun control, over 100,000 Mayan Indians were rounded up and murdered. How about this guy, Idi Amin in Uganda? From 1971 to 1979, over 300,000 Christians were rounded up and exterminated. Some put the number as high as 500,000. Who's keeping track, right? How about this guy, Pol Pot in Cambodia? This interesting character killed over 1.5 million, but maybe as many as 3 million people after confiscating people's guns. Folks, we are not afraid of background checks. I think that's a great idea. But the issue is every genocide in modern history started with gun registration, followed by confiscation. And if you check this over here at Snopes, just start right up here, actually, a little gun history. If you look for this article, you'll see a meme that references a few of the mass murders that I just referenced. And it says it's mostly false. Now, why does it say it's mostly false? Well, if you want to read the article, please do go ahead and over there and read it. What they're saying is that gun control is not responsible for these deaths. These people were killed because of their ethnic makeup, because of their political leanings, and so forth. But what an absurd distinction to make. These people would not have been killed had they not given up their guns. So you can scroll all the way to the bottom, and the conclusion is very concise. Based on the actual evidence at hand, we find it reasonable to conclude that gun confiscations facilitated by laws requiring the registration and or licensing of firearms played a crucial role in the carrying out of 20th century genocides. Yes, it's very clear. It's right there on Snopes. Anyway, folks, we do need to keep our children safe. Uh, Handing in our weapons is not the way to do it. Not based on what history says. I think that we're much safer in the long run by holding on to our AR-15. Thanks a lot. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.